Wake up, New Brighton. Welcome to our show. This week, we're going to be focusing on Veterans Day and all the veterans who have served.
We asked our classmates to bring in videos of veterans they know and talk about how they served in the military. Here's a look at some of the clips we received.
Hi, my name is Kai McKenzie. I'm honoring my Uncle Buck. His name was Thomas Edward Sainer. He was in the Army in 1984 to 1988. He was on peacetime, and he was stationed in Germany, in Texas, and here's his picture.
My name is Brian Smith. I served in the United States Air Force for 8 years. I held the rank Senior Airman, and I was stationed at Tyndall Air Force Base in Florida.
Okay, what's your name?
Gary Moorbacher,
What branch were you in?
United States Army,
What was your rank?
Specialist E5.
Where were you stationed?
I was in Fort Gordon, Georgia for 3 months. I was at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri for 7 months. And I was in Vietnam all over the place for a year.
Okay. And what kind of jobs did you do?
I was a demolition engineer.
Okay, thank you. Okay, state your name.
Jim Stell,
What was your rank?
Bay Officer, 2nd class,
And what branch of service?
Navy.
Where were you stationed?
Mainly out of Norfolk, Virginia. I did boot camp in Orlando, A school and fire school in Orlando, prototype in Windsor Locks, Connecticut, welding school in San Diego, and then went to the USS Norfolk that was in Kittery, Maine, and got transferred down to Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay. What kind of jobs did you do?
I was a nuclear machinist mate, worked on a submarine in the engine room.
And what did you do?
Ran a nuclear power plant, provided propulsion, and made water for the boat.
Okay, how many years did you serve? And if you served in a war, tell us.
Served 8 years, 11 months, 3 days. I was in during the Gulf War and the subsequent conflicts after that. We did a lot of missions that were ahead of many wars. I was in the Mediterranean Sea. We were in the Adriatic for a while, and then we did a Northern Atlantic deployment, which, if you want to know what we do on a Northern Atlantic deployment, the best thing to do is read Blind Man's Bluff.
Okay, that it?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Randy Short. This is my grandfather. His name is Harry Heiselman. He fought in the Army during World War II from 1943 to 1945 when the war ended.
And George Lutz. I was in the U.S. Navy, ranked Seaman First Class.
My name is Mackenzie Golden. This is my brother Zach, and he currently serves in the United States Army, and he's a second lieutenant. He has been to Fort Leonard Wood, Fort Wainwright, and Fort Knox, and he will be stationed in Hawaii this December.
Hi, my name is Ronald Krutt. I was in the United States Army, went in February of '67. Was in for 2 years. I took my basic training at Fort Bragg in North Carolina, took my advanced infantry training in Fort Polk, Louisiana. I was in Vietnam from early July of '67 through '68. Come back from there is July 4th. My rank was E5 Sergeant.
Hi, my name is David Lee Shields Sr. I'm 71 years old. Back in 1964, the Vietnam War started. I enlisted at the age of 17. My parents had to co-sign for me to get in because I was too young. My oldest brother was already in Vietnam. And when I come out of boot camp, I was assigned as aircraft mechanic to an aircraft carrier, the USS Randolph, in the 6th Fleet, where we chased Russian submarines around the Mediterranean and Atlantic and the North Atlantic. And that was referred to as the Cold War. In the last year and a half, I was stationed in Keflavik, Iceland, which is a communist country. It is why we went to war, to fight the communists. In a communist country, you had to be home in bed at 10 o'clock. Your TV was restricted. They told you which shows to watch. Then after that, I came home, and here I am.
Why did you join?
I enlisted in the United States Navy because when I was a senior in high school in New Brighton, President Kennedy was assassinated, and everybody was gung-ho to enlist to join the Army because the Vietnam War was just starting, and all the propaganda you heard was the communists assassinated Kennedy. And Kennedy was a very popular president who I liked, and he came through New Brighton, him and Jackie, and you talk about falling in love with a First Lady. It was a beautiful First Lady.
Do you remember arriving to basic training, and what was it like?
In my first day, we left here at 6 o'clock. We flew to Chicago, Great Lakes. And during boot camp, we arrived in an ice storm. Everything was solid and tuned in ice. That's something you'll never forget. Blades of grass, and all the icicles stood up, and there you were outside in boot camp, slipping and sliding, trying to march. Boot camp lasted 15 weeks, and I was sent to Memphis, Tennessee to aircraft mechanic school. After graduating from aircraft mechanic school, I was sent to my aircraft carrier USS Randolph in the 6th Fleet, where on ship doing launch and recovery was very nerve-wracking, life-threatening, and your heart was always in your throat doing launches and recoveries. And doing one launch, we lost a helicopter with 4 crewmen chasing the stupid submarines, Russian submarines in the Mediterranean. So we lost 4 people at that, right at dusk of dawn during the launch. And then outside of that, I was sent to Keflavik, Iceland, where I finished my last year and a half.
Do you have any memorable experiences?
Yeah, a couple of experiences, like I say, when we lost a helicopter crash, and during the launch, we'd taken an S2D aircraft on the elevator up to the flight deck, and the ship was making a hard port turn, so naturally the aircraft started rolling fast, and I was on the tow bar steering the plane, the front nose wheel. And as we were rolling toward the elevator, I was running out of the deck, which we referred to as the floor. I kept yelling to Woody, I'm running out of deck, I'm running out of deck. And Woody was always the guy who hit the brake the last time, make the sharp turn. Well, when he did, he yelled hard port. I turned, and there was supposed to have been a plane captain in the airplane. He wasn't there to hit the rudder to turn the plane. So naturally, when I turned that 100-pound tow bar, it snapped. It hit me in the chest and knocked me over the side of the ship. And thankfully, the side of the elevator had a safety net. I hit the net. And I looked up, and I seen the aircraft coming over the side with me. And the big landing gear come down. It just got my chest, and it stopped. I was stuck between the plane and the net. Here, the tail went up in the air and got caught in the flight deck. And that's what saved my life, and the plane didn't go over the side. So that's something you always remember.
What was the food like?
Well, the food tastes good when you're hungry. And when a carrier, you're working 12-hour shifts, doing launch recovery, you was definitely told, do not miss a meal. If you do, you wouldn't be worth crap until the next meal. I found that out the hard way. I missed a meal, and I couldn't do anything for the next 4 to 5 hours because I wasn't worth nothing. I was too tired and too hungry and too cranky. And you get very hostile. Then after you learn how to fight your battles till you get your next meal. And believe me, when you got that meal, you went back to seconds, if you could.
Do you remember your discharge day?
Yes, I was flown out of Iceland on a commercial jet, landed in Philadelphia. My discharge date was October 21st, 1967. I got out as an E4 aircraft mechanic in Philadelphia, PA. and I hitchhiked home. Go Navy.
This is my grandfather. He enlisted in the Air Force in 1962. He was stationed in Canada and got the title captain, and he served during the Vietnam War. These are pictures of my dad. He was the Chief of Transportation and later got the title of captain. He was stationed in Boston during the Air Force. Veterans Day honors anyone who has served in the armed forces. Our students wanted to help celebrate the brave people who have fought for our country.
Thank you, veterans.